Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online.
No
All
idea
systems
functionally what I'm doing.
Months until I'm customizing my pussy lips. I'm very excited.
For fucking the giggles.
Yo, you ain't getting any candy for it, bitch.
I have one round left. Just enough for myself.
Okay, yay! It's fucking us.
What an intro.
Yeah, what enthusiasm.
10 out of 10. Welcome back to the podcast. Wow!
I hope you're as enthused to listen to us as Andy is to record.
I'm very excited to record. I'm actually
Playing Dota.
very pumped. So yeah, sorry we missed a week. This should be noted real quick before we start is that it is current.
Fault.
Hey, that it's the 12th. We've switched the recording days from Sundays to Wednesdays, just due to scheduling. This video,
Sorry, people.
Which will absolutely switch up the things that we can actually talk about. Because there will be things that happen later in the week that we don't get to.
right, but vice versa. Like, there's kind of like huge news that dropped the middle of this week that if we were recording at our normal time, we wouldn't have been able to add.
This is true.
So hey, it's gonna be the same goddamn thing. The other thing is this is probably going up Friday because I don't have as much time to work on the videos. So this will give me 2 days to edit it. And now you're all caught up on the channel status. Who wants to start weeks? I could start weeks.
You start weeks.
You said you were pumped? Show us you're pumped.
You always
Oh.
start weeks. Go.
So pumped, the veins are giving me headaches from the pumped. All right.
Got a full chub. You're so pumped. Let's go, dude.
I'm full mass, just like my week was. Whatever. That doesn't even make sense. I'm employed. Yay!
Yeah.
I bottle hand sanitizer, so I'm essentially a hero, and you're doing a disservice to your nation if you don't listen to us. And with that out of the way, stolen valor. With that out of the way, I mean, I did a couple of things the past 2 weeks, not too much. Mostly I played more Underrail. I played a little bit of Risk of Rain with Robbie here, and primarily I've gotten into Phantasy Star Online 2 because it released for Steam. And I have to talk about that game.
I as well have been playing it. So I'll just cut that out of my week and we can talk about it now.
That works fine. So I remember I have to explain my history with Phantasy Star because it's quick and it sets up for how caught off I was. It's I remember seeing in a magazine ad the first Phantasy Star Online forever ago. God. Well, first off, there were video game magazines that I wanted to own back then, so that's way back already. And I remember I was suckered into the game because that was my formative years. I was essentially all in on robots. I mean, I still am, but like I didn't have any other aspects to my personality. And I remember seeing a screenshot of a game of a guy who's playing a cast, and casts are like right there in my aesthetic with robots because they're very similar to Armored Core type boxy bots, and that's what I like. And I remember the screen grab had him cursing, where it was like someone, because it's an MMO, so someone shows up and it's like, sorry I'm late, and the robot is like, it's about fucking time, and it was censored, of course, because magazine. But I remember seeing that as a child, and I was like, why would a robot say bad words? That's the coolest thing. And
That's what we'll do on PS. Cursing rope
yeah, well, yeah.
next that can drop F-bombs. Nice.
Come on, you can't tell me that isn't cool. Um, so yeah, but I didn't own a Dreamcast, and I don't do subscriptions, so I never ended up getting that. Fast forward years, I'm playing Phantasy Star Portable and enjoying that as a cast, the Master Race. And then Phantasy Star Online 2's coming out. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be sick. I get to play, like finally play Phantasy Star Online, something I've wanted to do for years, literally years. And then it takes 10 fucking years to show up. It's a Western release, and it takes a little bit longer for it to get off of a garbage platform. And we download it, and it's like Windows 10 only, and then we play it, and it works fine because it's a 10-year-old game and it existed
That's
before.
so like. Can we just hinge on that for like 5 seconds?
Sure.
It's so strange that the Steam page just lists Windows 10. It's like, yeah, minimum requirements. You must have Windows 10, and then you download it and you fucking play it, and that's not the case at all. Like you're running on fucking anything. There's a dude who there's a Steam review you can see that's like at the top of the store page that says this works on Windows 7. Because
Yep.
you felt like you had to let people know, because for some reason they just don't tell you that.
Like, I
My
understand the
had theory-
Microsoft Store reason, because Microsoft Store is a Windows 10 thing, and it's like, okay, I get that. And also to kind of have an exclusive thing, or maybe to force upgrades, even though, like, it's not a huge percentage of the PC population is still on, like, 7 or 8. I know I'm an outlier, still fucking running 8.1. No one does that. But yeah, it's very weird to then just like not advertise that. I mean, it was weird in the first place because the game existed before Windows 10 did. How the hell could it require Windows 10 ever?
Well, as you explained with the Microsoft Store thing, it made sense. With Steam, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And my tinfoil hat theory, because it obviously runs on other operating systems than 10, is that whoever was in charge of like submitting the system requirements for the Steam store page didn't give enough of a fuck to change them.
Mhm.
So like they just put Windows 10 on there. You know what I mean? Like they literally just grabbed whatever listing of system requirements already exists somewhere else for the Western PC release and just like pasted it to the Steam page. You know what I mean?
That's very
And
possible.
so it just says Windows.
Very possible.
That's my tinfoil hat theory.
And then to describe the game, I've surmised it as a Japanese fever dream, and the best way to encapsulate that is I'm a robot shoot man, and I'm in this forest that looks like it's from a 10-year-old game, because it's from a 10-year-old game. So the textures aren't great, but it's workable. And shit is just spawning in front of me. And it's not like disguised or whatever, it's just appearing. And then I'm murdering it very quickly. And then the entire screen goes blue. Big fucking text shows up on the screen, and a Japanese man tries in English to say, what is it? It's code, right? That's the thing. It's like,
I believe so.
Code attack, and then a boss spawns, and I just have to fight it, and it dies in 2 seconds, and the screen is still blue with giant text on it, and then that fades away, only for a new blue screen to pop up to say, code clear, in, again, bad English. And then there's fucking numbers all over the place. Your character's glowing red because there's a time attack system. You're spamming specials, and and then other shit just starts happening. And like the screen
It's very old school. I think the best way, like Matt, I was playing with Matt the other day, and he said it. He said something. I don't even know if he has like prior experience with Phantasy Star games or not. I don't think he does. And he said he himself described, like, picked up on it, and he was like, "This feels very old school," and that's the best way you could put it. Is that it's like, and that's not even like for its like 10-year age gap of when it came out to now, like not even that kind of old school, like even older than that. You know, it's very like arcadey
Yeah,
in its stylings, where it's like really in your face. It's very fast paced. It's not like it feels old school. Like I think Matt kind of nailed it by saying that.
I think the best way I could kind of like bridge that gap is you had to be alive during a certain span of time where like every week there was some new weird Korean MMO that came out, and it was just the video game was very basic models, very basic like terrain, and then particle effects out of the asshole like all over the place, because like that's what was selling the combat, because like the mechanical systems weren't there. They couldn't translate that, like not like your newer MMOs where it's like very active combat style. Even though this does have kind of like an active combat style, there's a lot of things to kind of disguise it and make the like lag less obvious and stuff. Like yeah, it feels like an old school game that then like had 10 years of layering systems and ADHD polish put on it. Um, I remember, and there was even a time where like a fucking bingo card came on my screen, and like a thing filled in, and a Japanese man just yells "matched" at me, and I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
is going on, like at all.
Mechanically, though, I will say this: I'm enjoying playing it. It's fun to play. The gameplay is fun, even though it's not like super complicated. Um, but it has some like interesting layers of complexity, like specifically with the class that I'm playing. That's kind of interesting. But something I'm kind of pleasantly surprised with is that I haven't put money into the game yet. Like I'm just playing it for free, and it's probably, I don't want to say the least, but it's not, the grind isn't like horribly offensive
No,
yet.
not at all.
It's not the worst in turn. And I've played a pretty decent amount of different MMOs, and of all the MMOs that I've played, it's not that bad. Like it's like if I were to compare PSO2 to something like BDO is a fucking train wreck of like grind and just like horrendous fucking systems for gearing up and shit like that. And PSO2, I'm honestly kind of enjoying it. It's a pretty smooth ride. It's not horrendous. It has not become offensive to me yet in any way, shape, or form. And it's fun to play. So when it does get grindy, I don't mind it because I enjoy hitting the buttons and making this stuff happen.
Yeah, same here. It's like it's weird that everything I described should be a negative, because even it's like with all the shit that's on the screen, it's sometimes hard to keep track of the relevant information, like your hit timings
Oh yeah,
and your health is like a very small bar in the corner compared to all the bullshit that is on the screen at the time.
dude, the code shit, like the code stuff is like you're in a mission, and the code shit that Anthony was talking about just a little while ago is like basically like emergency events would, but like in any other MMO where it's like you're just out doing something completely different, and then it goes code some bullshit, and then you have to do like a sub thing whilst you're like walking around doing whatever it was you were doing initially. And when that shit pops up on screen, it is so in your fucking face that I actually have trouble playing the game sometimes when it's telling me that a code is coming up. Because with my class, I'm supposed to like parry shit. I have like a block and a parry. And sometimes I can't tell that an enemy is about to attack me because my whole screen is full of giant blue fucking circle and the words code, whatever the fuck. And like, it's actually kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, but that's a pretty mild complaint, honestly, in the grand scheme of things.
My class has like a special meter that builds, and as it builds, when I use my specials, it does more damage, so I want to fill the gap with like normal attacks. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever looked at that bar once because of how small it is and out of the way with all the shit that's going on. uh, but yeah, it's very very fun just because it's a completely competent game. It has a nice little aesthetic with it. You'll find something that you like with all the classes and races and all that type of stuff. And then it is just there's just layers of like almost surrealism that I very much enjoy because of just like the people playing this game are exactly who you think they are, and you know it's very weird to just see like a mixture of like badass robots, guys in suits, literal strippers, girls in suits, and just like every single scene you're just being assaulted by conflicting information and styles that I find strangely endearing. So we've been talking about this fever dream way too long. It's good, it's free. Download it. If you hate it, uninstall it. This one doesn't install itself 4 times, so it's no risk. And then beyond that, I mean, I haven't really done much else. I mean, just to give an update on Underrail is I fucking hit a wall again. Like just when I thought my build was like in its zenith and it's like nothing could touch me, I'm getting absolutely creamed by like skinny bastards with knives because they could do moves that so long as it does any damage, it lowers my strength, which my class is hyper dependent on, or at least my build is, I should say, because then I can't move because my armor's too heavy, and I can't shoot my gun because my gun's too heavy, and I just get shit on because it doesn't matter that they're doing like 1 or 2 damage and I have like 600 health because they could do this move once a goddamn turn and everyone's just beating on me while I can't do anything. But I still really enjoy it. I got into the expansion content a bit, where it's actually kind of filling in the lore of the world a little bit. Again, the character writing is still on point. It's a lot of fun things to do. Still super recommend that game. And I'm pretty sure that's basically all I did. Oh, I 100%ed Carrion, which is that indie game put out by Devolver where you play as essentially like a mass of tentacles and mouths, and you go on a rampage through
I saw that game. That looked cool.
a scientific facility. It's very short. But it's pretty fun. There's some nice little puzzle elements to it. It definitely, I don't know, it needs something. Like it's a very good concept and fairly good execution. There's just a few things like enemies that are just very, very cheap, and but then it's not really also that hard to solve if the right things are there. Because you start running into these enemies that you can't eat to regain health, and they have like an electric shield, so you can't grab them from the front, otherwise you take damage. So the solution is still really simple. You just throw something at them, they get knocked over, the shield's down, and then you can go to eat them, and that auto kills them, or at very least just grab them and use them as the next projectile to throw to knock over the other guys like that. Because the gameplay is very, very fast. But if you just happen to spawn in a room and there's just like nothing you could use, they could burst you down real quick, and then it's like luck at that point, and or a lot of like probing attacks. And considering how fast and fun the rest of the gameplay is, that is just like crashing into a brick wall. And again, it's very short. Even all the extra content there's basically a bonus upgrade per zone. Oh, and it's kind of like Metroidvania-ish where you could go to any zone and there's one like hub zone. But there's no map, so that could get very confusing very quickly. So those nitpicks aside, it's still pretty good. Pick it up on sale, I would say. And I think that's it. I haven't really watched anything. It's just been working and playing Phantasy Star for the most part. And that's my week, my 2 weeks.
Cool beans. You want to roll into mine since we already talked about half of it, basically?
Sure.
We already talked about PSO2. That's part of my week. This is going to be insanely fast. I played a lot of Dota. Still doing that. Still hating it. Still hating my life. Just the pain of the cavern crawl has ended for me. So that's nice. What?
Close though. Say not me, but close though.
You'll get there. How many games do you have left?
I think like 9 or some shit.
Okay. So that's nice. I'm not suffering with that anymore, but the game is still suffering sometimes. So, God, what the fuck did I do with my life other than that? I worked on some shit, but that's not extremely exciting to talk about. And the only other thing I think I did is I watched Gerald's game on Netflix, which was kind of cool. I don't know if any of you have seen that. It's a adaptation of a Stephen King book. If nobody's who's listening is familiar with Gerald's game, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good, and I don't want to get like super into it for sake of spoilers, but I think my only issue with it is some of the shit that goes down in like the last 15 minutes of the movie. But other than that, I would honestly highly recommend it. It's
Alright.
extremely good. I think the only thing that takes me out of it a little bit, or took me out of it a little bit, was some of the. I've had this conversation with someone before, and I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but Netflix constantly reuses actors and actresses
Yes.
in their stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's all over the place. It's like if they're in one show or one movie, you can guarantee that they are in at least one other Netflix original thing. Every single fucking time. So there's 2 roles in Gerald's game that are really weird because they're played by people from Haunting of Hill House,
Oh.
and it's really weird casting because of like who they were in Haunting of Hill House and who they are in this movie. It's just kind of awkward sometimes, but once you get past that, the movie's really good. I highly recommend it. Big 2 thumbs up. And that's pretty much been my week. I don't think I did anything else, and if I did, I played a little more Doom Eternal, but I kind of got side-railed on that, or derailed rather, due to the fucking anime MMO. And that's about it. I think that's my week.
Take it away, Freers.
I'll take it away. Because my week is very short because I don't do much. Keeping it relevant. A lot of Dota, same as Brandon. Suffering, of course. Not done with my crawl, so still want to rip my cock off every night until that shit's over. And then I'll still want to do that. Who am I kidding? But besides that, just Total War, because I like that game. Excuse me, Total War Warhammer 2. I really like that game. There's some like other games I've been wanting to play, but I haven't brought myself to it. There's a new one that I was looking at that looked kind of interesting. I was talking to Rob about this. It's like an indie game. It's called Godhood. I guess it just got its official release. And it looks cool. It looks fun. You basically make your own religion. You play a god. And then
Black and white?
I was thinking the same thing.
I think it's from the same developers, actually.
Are you serious?
I could be wrong on that, though.
It doesn't have the giant monsters, though. Right? Or does it?
I mean, as far as I know, it doesn't have giant monsters. Hold on.
RIP. It's not black and white. Rest in peace.
But, maybe not. I don't know. But, the thing
God,
that's
I used to
holding
play
me...
the fuck out of black and white. I'm sorry.
Nah, the thing that's
Yeah.
holding me back from getting it is kind of like the price. It's like $21, and it's got like mixed reviews.
Ah.
I mean, like the game, like the trailer looked cool. The gameplay trailer. It's just $21 for a mixed review game. Oh, the reviews are like,
There goes our sponsorship by Godhood.
yeah.
Damn. Sorry, guys.
I don't know if it's worth 21.
I don't know.
And
It's like
money
I
got-
read like the user reviews, and there were like some good ones. People say the game's really good, but then like I don't know, you got the bad one. Mainly is that while the game is fun and okay, it's mainly the price for what you get.
It's not.
a little
I'm sorry. I don't. Not to derail you. You said you think it might be made by the people who made Black and White, or do you know that?
I don't know that. I'm probably wrong, but I remember seeing someone talk about
Okay.
Black and
I
White
thought
in the
Black
comments.
and White was a Molyneux's game, wasn't it?
It
Lionhead?
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there, I would
Lionhead's
say
dead,
no.
so like maybe
Yeah.
yeah, but they might have moved on.
And
True,
I
true.
mean,
It could be a spiritual successor type of studio. Is my boy Peter lying about this game somewhere?
Maybe that's why their views aren't so good. I don't know. I don't see this game in Peter Molyneux's credits, so I'm going to assume he's not involved.
Black and
this-
White was Lionhead, so yeah, definitely not.
Was this game
No,
at
I'm
the
saying it's
center of
not.
a weird cube in space?
I'm not asking if it's made by Lionhead. I'm asking if it's made by people who used to work at Lionhead.
I
Because obviously Lionhead
I
doesn't
don't know.
exist.
Honestly, I'm probably wrong. I just remember seeing people talk about Black and White in the reviews of this game. Maybe they were just referencing it. Maybe I don't know. But point being, I don't know. Looks interesting. I might pick it up. I might just say fuck it. But the main attraction to me is it's like different paths you could take, and they seem like really like cool. You know, you could be like a war god or a peace god, but then they have like lust gods. And apparently, you could make all your disciples nudists.
Nice.
I mean, like the game's graphics, like
I'm
it's
sold.
not like intense. It's
Can't
like
wait
it's an indie game.
Finally, my
That's like-
Slanesh simulator.
It's probably like a step up
I'm
from
fucking sold.
it's a step up from
Welcome to the Temple of Fucking
Minecraft.
Suck.
but they
Fucking
also
suck.
got like
Welcome to the
Cthulhu worship in this game too. Like you could worship like old ones with tentacles and shit. So like it's interesting. You know, I'm from what I see, I dig it. We'll see if I'll get it. Maybe an update next week if I do. Besides that, I am Salad King. Basically, today I just made a bunch of salads at work, and they were all beautiful. And I went out and looked at other salads people made, and they were sad salads. They were wimpy salads. They
Wow,
didn't deserve
bro.
to be out there.
You shit about other people's salads?
Yeah,
right
they
now?
were terrible, dude. I wish you could see it. So I was making an antipasta salad. This is why people come to this cast, to hear the deli stories.
Little did we know.
Yeah. So I was
Really don't
making.
come like that.
Yeah, I do. That's true. They don't come here at all. But I was making an antipasta salad. So I threw on my antipasta stuff. My pepperoncinis and my pepperoni and all that shit. And I made a fucking banging salad, loaded. Definitely worth the money. I go out there to place it, and I see this wimpy little salad, dude. Like it had like barely any lettuce. It had, instead of like our like pepperoni like cut up we do, like it had like two little pieces of just pre-sliced like tiny pepperoni, like Hormels. It had like 3 slices of provolone cheese just on it. It was the worst. And I'm like, man, get this out of here. So I threw it out. And then placed my salad down, because mine, that was going to sell.
Dicky Needles.
Come in this podcast talk about
Yeah,
fucking
and then he leaves. But
he's been railing me hard to play Tarkov on him.
yeah, I could tell by yesterday, but
The giant baby that won't play Dota.
I don't get why either. But that's
He's a
besides the
baby.
point.
I understand.
He's a sodium infused baby, man.
Is he still sodium infused from the last time?
I think that's why he's not playing.
This
He's
this
like, oh,
kid-
I hate Dota now, and I'm like, why? And he's like, I don't know. It's been building. I was like, what? Are you still mad about that game that you played? And I don't think he said anything.
Oh boy.
I thought he just hated it from the get-go.
Baby, if you're listening, you're a baby man. You're not listening, but if you are, you're a baby man, and you should play Dota. Anyway, go on.
Moving on.
Yeah, but I mean, salads. I made caprese. I made chicken Caesar. I made antipasta. I made summer berry, a Cobb salad, like family tossed. Like I am the salad king. I've annexed the salad fields, or What did you say, Anthony?
What was it?
The lettuce something.
The Lettuce Lord or something.
Yeah, the
like
Lord of
Yeah,
Lettuce.
I am the Lord of Lettuce. I am now ruler
Sultan of
the,
Salad.
the realm of Romaine.
The ruler of Romaine.
And
The king of croutons.
God, all I do is work and play Dota. Kill me, please. That's my week.
All right, my week was I started a new job. The entire reason why we moved our recording day. So apologies. I've been doing late night shifts and been playing a little bit of Valorant, Scrap Mechanic, and for the past like 2 days, nothing but like Risk of Rain.
Bro, you're playing Valorant?
A little bit. I asked you to
Valorant?
play with me.
I know you did. I was busy. I was doing shit all weekend. I was playing PSO, and I got fucking Dota shit to do every night. So I will play with you. I'm interested in playing more Valorant. I didn't want to stop. I just kind of got pulled away from it.
We're in a weird spot where we love Dota. I mean, it's suffering, but we love it. We like playing it.
It's also
But now we also have a guild that
Sure, yeah.
likes to play.
The
We have
game
to
was
leave
rigged
all-
from the start.
Anyway, the point is, I will play Valorant with you again someday. However, I would like to stop for a moment and hinge on the fact that you just said you've been playing Valorant, and I would like to ask you: is the new agent as busted as everyone says she
I
is?
haven't played against her yet.
Really?
Yeah.
People aren't
Nope.
spamming her
Nope.
constantly? That's shocking. I've heard nothing but that she's like super OP and has broken the whole fucking game, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Interesting. I thought for sure you would.
I
Have
had not played against her
one.
yet, and I'm actually actively trying to get her because I love robots and drones, and that's literally her shtick is making drones.
So OP.
I mean, I liked Cypher, and his whole thing was cameras and tripwires.
He's OP too, apparently, from what I
Is
understand.
he?
Yeah. I guess that when the meta shook out after release, it was like Cypher was on every team. He had like 100% pick rate.
Really? Damn.
This new girl's apparently busted as well.
Yeah, playing a shit ton, and I do mean a shit ton of of Risk of Rain.
Well, is that a Freudian slip?
No,
Yep. The Dota. Did you hear that?
nope.
Did
I
you
said
hear that?
nothing. I
His,
said nothing.
his
Everyone heard
secret
that.
desires leaking out.
Here, it just splooged out a little bit. Just a few drops of Dota leaked out. Anyway, go on.
And I have gotten the new Survivor, the captain, and I have made it and have beaten the final boss of the game. And goddamn, is that shit difficult? I will not reveal too much about the final boss as spoilers for our people, our viewers, our whole 20-some viewers. But goddamn, that motherfucker is hard.
We do have many viewers.
But otherwise, other than, learning the ropes of my new job and loving the fucking final release of Risk of Rain and this new Survivor, that was my week. My 2 weeks, honestly.
Nice. We had
Nice.
pretty simple weeks.
It's quick.
Very exciting people.
It's almost like we're most of us work and then almost do nothing.
I
yeah.
only really talk about like my Dota mental health issues, not my unrelated Dota mental health issues. So,
Or your unrelated mental health issues. Period. That's
So I mean,
more
I could go
me.
on longer on how like I wake up every night. Yeah, I stay up every night and just cry profusely. But I don't think people want to listen to that.
Let's not, because we're already a little behind in schedule.
We'll have
Fuck your mental health. I got Dungeons and Dragons to run.
we could have
Yes.
that be a lost episode of just unedited footage of Richie crying.
Yeah.
There you go.
If we get
Okay.
to 40 subscribers, I will just
40
upload a video of
subscribers
me
special.
just crying.
Naked in the fetal position
That's true.
Oh my
in the
god.
corner.
Okay,
Crying.
so
Don't do it, people.
That's a promise. 40 subscribers, I will video uploaded me naked in a corner crying.
So-
And
look,
we get
some
to- we get
nerds
to-
are like, oh boy, I don't know, for 100 subscribers, maybe a face reveal. Usually that's like 1,000 or 1,000,000. We, for the low price of 40 subscribers, naked in the corner.
Yeah.
Just Richie.
If we get
40, he's fetal crying. 69, he's naked.
there,
Okay.
you go, boom.
But only on his OnlyFans.
No, we'll just upload a video of it.
If
But
we
like,
get-
like he's in a fetal position, so like you can't see, like he's covering up his fucking twigs and berries, you know.
Right.
But he's definitely naked in the corner.
Mhm.
It's YouTube safe, but he's naked in the corner.
It's tasteful.
Is he facing
Yeah.
the camera or away? This is important. Come on,
Alright,
I'm like
for-
halfway there. I need to finish. I need to
50
cross.
or wait, if it's 69, hold on, if it's 69 subscribers for that, then we get to like 75, there'll be a face reveal. There you go.
Okay,
Oh, so you have to be fetal in the corner, but they can't see your face.
that's
Your
easy.
head has to be down in your arms.
We're gonna be doing like more crying at the end of.
And if we get to 80 subscribers, I'll also have a gun in my mouth.
I was used to stick the words out of
Wait,
my
hang
mouth.
on. Why are we just living out your fantasy at this point, Rich?
He literally took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say at 100 subscribers, I'll just blow my fucking brains out on the channel.
Welcome to the
I don't-
Gurocast.
Wait, at 100 subscribers, I'll upload my suicide note. And then at 150, I'll blow my brains out.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Let's
live
go
stream it.
with the news.
We're
Let's
see.
go
This started as an encouragement for people to subscribe. Anyway,
What people didn't know is that this whole channel is just a suicide pact.
it's a
They didn't
really
know.
desperate cry for help.
Yeah, no. It's a suicide pact. We made a suicide pact. If we get to 150 subs, we just all kill ourselves.
I did not agree to this.
Like you did now.
Help me,
The contract,
people.
you can read the fine print.
Help.
It
Or
was
we
on.
do it naked.
It was on the other side of your microphone. You should have
Gotta
paid
be
more
naked.
attention.
Naked suicide.
Oh God,
Four of us are
People,
naked.
For the
that's
low, low
dude. Wait,
price
hang on.
of 50
I didn't-
subscribers. Save me.
That's a song title. Naked
Naked.
suicide. Yeah.
Nudist suicide. Nudist death cult.
All right. So news. Besides us killing ourselves, speaking of killing yourselves, Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Murdering itself in the grave. In the crib. I
No,
mean.
not really.
It has been delayed to 2021, so Xbox doesn't really have a launch title anymore.
It's
Oh,
not killing itself. It's killing the platform that it's supposed to be selling to you.
That's hilarious. That's
Listen,
honestly
I understand the ramifications of it. I think, and this will roll into also the other game that's been delayed that we'll talk about. I think it's a good thing because these games obviously need more work,
Yeah.
and if they give them more time to get it better, it's better. Granted, I still think Halo Infinite is not going to be good, but hey, maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's fun. Like, it's good that they're delaying it if there's issues with it, obviously, which is why they're delaying it. But it is kind of mind blowing that they didn't put in the work to have this ready with 100% certainty by console launch because they're fucking themselves hard.
Think about the year, though. It's been rough to have things done.
Oh,
with
yeah.
certainty.
Like you're not wrong, but it's also like what does PS5 have as like a launch title?
You know what? I'm not sure because they had the reveal thing, but now it's like that used to be like this is the showcase for what's coming out, but now it's like I don't remember if there were launch dates. So like, is Ratchet and Clank a launch title? Like I know that that's an exclusive. That's something that they have. I don't know if it's a launch title. Like I'm aware that they have games, but I don't know what is concrete coming out. Let me Google it real quick. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, the only thing they really have, I just found it. I'm reading an article right now that's like 15 launch titles for PS5, and pretty much all of them are like multi-platform except for Godfall. So I guess
Spider-Man 2,
Fall.
technically.
yeah, Spider-Man's odd though. That's in this article, but that's also really weird. Because that's also going to be on PS4, isn't it? Or did they cancel that?
Oh, I guess it would also be.
Have they like canceled its PS4 version, or is it
No,
going to be
no,
on PS?
it'll be on both.
All right, so that's really weird. But like Godfall, and that's about it. So to be completely honest, this is kind of murderous for Xbox in the sense that like they don't have the game now, but PlayStation, but like neither console really looks
Well,
super
hold
appetizing
on.
to me at launch.
You
Fuck
you
Godfall.
take that right back. Launch title,
What?
Bug Snacks.
Snacks. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that because it's in the article I'm reading. Y'all hype for butt sex? I mean, bug snacks.
Hey, hang on, butt sex?
I was hyped for butt sex, but you ruined it.
Who said butt sex? Bug snacks.
Anyway, we already got off of our news piece pretty hard. So, yeah, that's kind of alarming. But honestly, I mean, all of us are kind of
Well, no,
PC gamers now. I don't think
yeah,
any of us were
we
like,
weren't really off the topic
yeah.
because I'm thinking in
I
terms of
think
like
all of us are PC gamers.
what's the comparison between what PS5 is gonna have at launch and like how hard does this fuck Microsoft and their Xbox launch? It fucks them. It definitely fucks them. Because like, what is that like? For what reason do you buy an Xbox now? In terms of launch titles, but at the same time, it's like when I look at what PS5 has, I honestly don't wind up giving a shit about either of them. In terms of what they offer me on fucking launch day, so I don't know.
Wait, you know what that fucking article means? Is where was Demon Souls remake? That's not a launch title. It's a remake. Like
I would be shocked if it was a launch title because all we got was a fucking cinematic trailer. We didn't even see gameplay.
I guess. Wow.
Cinematic trailer and screenshots.
Anyway, just to tie into this, another delay was announced, which is for Vampire the Masquerade 2, right? It's just 2.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well,
If it's needed, it's
that
needed.
that one I'm actually kind of happy for because they showed gameplay a while ago, which means at least it's to the gameplay phase. It's not like really early in development, and yeah, it looked atrocious what they showed. And I mean, Bloodlines.
We've all openly aired our how should I put it? Our
concern,
worries, and our concern with this game. So like, maybe this delay is indicative of those concerns being well placed.
Yeah.
Game might not be looking so hot at the moment, but maybe this delay will make it.
Like, again, let's be optimistic here, or at least I'll try to be. Maybe they know that, and that's why the delay happened.
Well, really, they do. That's probably what the delay is for. I would be shocked if this delay was just like, oh, we want to do further bug testing before the game comes out. This is like we must continue development.
I mean, like in the article, it says to ensure the game meets the ambition and quality bar of the development team. So I think that's fun.
I've mentioned it previously on this podcast a lot that I haven't seen anything from this game to make me super excited yet, and that a lot of the little gameplay snippets we got looked super fucking rough. So
they don't even have my favorite.
I'm fine with. I don't really care that this got delayed because I'm gonna be playing Cyberpunk anyway in like 3 months, and now they just don't collide. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Just tell you the DLC, Rob.
They're gonna sell me the game at this rate. Started there for a second. Blah, 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 blah.
Game's canceled. Vampire's dead.
Gangrel on launch, not buying game.
They're gonna be clever about it, and it's gonna be like, it's dead on arrival, but then we'll patch it, and it'll be undead launch.
Wow.
Branding.
Wow, fucking
Wow.
kill them all in the grave.
Stake them.
I hope that game doesn't suck nuts.
That was a better vampire joke than that one.
And if it does suck, I hope modders fix it and make it better.
It sucks in the way a vampire game is supposed to suck, which is blood. I'm gonna stop. That was like 3 in a row. I'm done.
Yeah.
Stop. Can we roll into a third story?
Yeah, let's go.
I know you had it kind of late in your list, but I would like to back it. because I want to hear Richie complain about it. Can we
yeah.
just talk
Oh,
about
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I know exactly
yeah.
what it is.
Oh, what is
I
this?
especially want to
Wait.
hear Richie. No, hold on. I especially want to hear. I'm gonna be really quiet, and I want to hear Richie complain about it. And I want to hear him complain about it specifically right after this because he just got done saying how he's happy that these other 2 games got delayed. So now I want to hear him explain why it's
No,
bad. that
and
this
I'll
one got
explain it
delayed.
because it's bullshit.
Hold on, guys. I'm just gonna go to sleep real quick. Wake me up when
Yeah.
he's done.
It's not, but I would love.
All right.
I'm gonna love to hear your
Let's roll with
explanation.
it. There was another delay, a delay that I would normally, like these other games, be happy with, except the developers were fucking assholes about it.
Literally the same thing. Continue.
The Baldur's Gate 3 early access demo, quote unquote, is delayed, not coming out in August, like the trailer said maybe. And I think it's so stupid because if you listen to our other videos, my thing with hating what they did was they put out this trailer. The trailer was cool. It showed a little bit of gameplay. I liked it. And then right at the end, it's like August. And then it like waits like 2-3 seconds. And then right under it, they put maybe. And I thought that was stupid. It infuriated me. Because like, only to me is like, well, they put out this trailer. It's really cool. It built my hype. They could have not thrown a date on anything and I would have just been hyped. But they threw that date there. And then with the maybe, it made me like, wow, I really hope it does come out. And if it doesn't come out, I'll be disappointed. So now we're at that time where the maybe didn't happen and I'm disappointed. So they could have avoided that. But they wanted to be cheeky, which wasn't, in my opinion. So it's stupid.
Can I
Because
provide
it
for you?
It's infuriating.
Can I provide for you my counter argument, which
Sure.
is almost exactly what I
Gerald.
said last time we talked about this?
Is he done?
Yeah.
It sounded like
we're
he was
still
done.
talking. Yeah.
All right.
So how is this worse than either of the 2 delays that we just talked about, where they didn't give us a maybe? They just said, "Oh, it's definitely coming out holiday with the Xbox," and then they were like, "Actually, it's delayed." Whereas Larian went, "Hey, we want it to come out in August, but we're going to temper your expectations and warn you that it might not." Isn't that more honest than the other 2 games we just talked about that got delayed?
I see the point, but it
Yeah,
was just the
good point,
way
isn't
it was just the way they went about it. I mean, like saying like Halo Infinite saying, "Oh, it's coming out with the Xbox." I mean, it just wasn't. To me, they didn't like throw that in my face as much as that Baldur's Gate 3 trailer was thrown in my face. Like it was just there.
Well, it's
Thrown
more
in
the
your face.
maybe, I think, is because me too. Like I kind of when we had that conversation, I was like, it's not the biggest deal, but I do understand. Like, if you're not 100% confident about hitting that date, why even put a maybe at all? Just go, it's coming out. Just put a year, maybe. I don't know. So I understand it from that, like, why announce something that you yourself aren't confident in. But yeah, I don't know. It's not crazy. I don't know if cheeky, sure, and it creates a hope that is then crushed, but I don't know about dishonest is a little far in the other direction.
I didn't say they were dishonest. I just said that it infuriates me.
For me, when we first had this conversation, like however many weeks ago that was now, I was very flabbergasted by your opinion on this because I really just couldn't understand it, and I'm still kind of flabbergasted.
Obviously,
because I
let
really
me
can't
prefix
understand.
this. Obviously, if the game needs toning and the game needs work, it is better to do that than put out a broken product.
Yes.
But
So what
don't
went
put
wrong?
out this stupid fucking thing on the trailer that's like, here's the date, and then we're gonna be clever. We're gonna wait like 2 seconds and then put maybe just to make people, like, I don't know. I don't know what was going through their head that made them think that that was like clever and would make people like laugh because it just made me angry. But
It made me laugh.
I think you're one of the only people who's mad by that about that though. And I think that's what I said back then too, and I'm just repeating it now. So this whole conversation sounds like a broken record, but like no one's writing
People who
articles
listen to
about like
these.
why did Larian put a maybe in the trailer? Like no one cared. Because this shit happens with early access games all the time, where they're like, "Yeah, we're trying to have it come out now, but we might not make it," and then they push it back, and then it comes out later with like its launch. So for me, like this isn't. If anything, it's
there's
more
a
honest than a lot of
difference
other.
between there's a difference between coming out with like a statement or writing on your Discord or whatever saying we want the game to come out here, than instead rendering like a full 2-minute fucking trailer to build hype and then like put a date on the end of it, but then wait your 2 seconds for your clever maybe. Like I don't know, it's just the way they went about it to me is infuriating versus what it actually was.
To
It's
me,
just,
it's the same shit. To me, it's the same shit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. And if anything, it's more honest than like a game. And it's more honest and it's more upfront than a company being like, guys, pre-order your Xbox because you're gonna have Halo day one. And then we hear that it gets delayed, and it's like, oh fuck. Well, I guess I'll cancel my fucking Xbox pre-order. At least this like dev was like, hey, we want it to come out in early access in this month, and then the maybe was like, but temper your expectations, we might not make it.
Done that with
Like,
a
wouldn't it have been
statement
worse
and not a
if they-
trailer.
Wouldn't it have been worse if they were like, oh, August, but they didn't put the maybe, and then they were like, sorry, it got delayed.
Of course it would. I'm not arguing that point. I'm just arguing that the way they did it,
So then
to
why are you
me
mad
personally,
not the other games?
because like again, they could have just said it in a statement. We're like, we're really pushing for August for the thing, but we understand with things going on, it might not get there. Instead of doing a full-length fucking trailer and then like having the like, it was the delay, man. It was the fucking
friend.
2 seconds that gets me, man.
I love you, but there's no way there's no way you can phrase this argument to make me understand it, especially when you just said it would have been worse if they didn't put a maybe.
Delivery.
But we
It
just
was
got
just
done.
the delivery.
We just got done talking about two games that didn't put a maybe.
Here, let me
And
put
They
it. Hang on, I think I
delivered
got it.
in a way that was palatable to me. They
hold
Baldur's
on,
Gate
hold on.
didn't, or Larian didn't.
Okay, here.
Literally just worse. At least they
Wait,
were honest
Brandon,
about
Brandon,
it.
hold
Like,
on, hold
maybe.
You ever hear a joke that like you got, but it still kind of pissed you off? I think.
No.
Okay, well, shit. Shit, I tried.
Shit, I tried.
A joke I got, but it pissed me off.
Yeah. You're like, ah, ha, ha, you bitch, you know, that type of thing.
All right, yeah, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Go on,
just.
go on with your analogy. Explain.
Well, I mean, that's it. Is that, you know, it was done for humor, and the humor landed flat, so then it becomes kind of like an anti-joke, and it like all you remember is the annoyance, you know. You don't even remember the joke anymore. And I think that's just kind of like what has occurred, is that
We can move on if we want, but it's just like we've seen this with early access games so many times in the past, and like no one ever gives a fuck.
Brandon,
And then when a
don't worry,
AAA
I'm
title gets delayed, it's like also like
Listen,
no one
listen,
gives a fuck.
I'm
Including the man
still-
that I'm having this debate with right now,
Yeah.
who's like, fuck them for the maybe. But those two other games, I'm glad they got delayed. They got to work on those.
Listen,
Thank God.
Larian is still going to have my money when this game comes out. I am definitely getting Baldur's Gate 3. That said, I still don't like what they did. So I guess it doesn't matter in the end.
My hands are up in the air.
Brandon, I agree with your point. I agree with you. Don't worry.
all right. Here we go. Next story. Good lord. The fighting game round table. So me and Brandon were
You know,
very
like mute.
okay. Me and Brandon were very
I at least try.
we were very excited for Evo, and then Evo exploded. And Evo is also a good point for a lot of video game announcements, at least in the fighting game genre. And so the question was, what do they do now? And I believe we even talked about it during that last episode. Well, Japan got together and was like, all right, let's just have a fighting game publisher roundtable. And I started to watch it, but it was only in Japanese, so I was like, okay, I'll wait for the SparkNotes version. And here is the SparkNotes version for you, our listeners. Mostly nothing.
Yeah,
I,
it was
like when like Koei Tecmo comes out and is like, we're gonna have a sale, it's like, who the fuck cares? Like, why?
I mean, basically the only things that happened. The most interesting part, like there were some announcements. Like
No, yeah, there
technically,
were announcements. Capcom, Tekken, and Arc System, by far.
Capcom didn't say much though at the roundtable. They announced stuff later. They were like, we're not gonna do anything now, and then on the 5th they had their own event, and that was where they announced all the SF5 stuff. Bandai Namco was like new Tekken season, I think, and they hinted at the fact that they're going to improve the netcode for Tekken 7, but also didn't give any details as to what that means. Apparently, Tekken 7 already runs on rollback, but it's just not very well implemented. So I guess they're going to improve it.
Also,
we got a
Setsuka.
Guilty Gear trailer. Yeah, that's true. Setsuka. We got the Guilty Gear Strive trailer, which was kind of neat. I didn't anticipate, what's his name, Nagoriyuki? I did not anticipate him being a big body character in the slightest.
No,
That is shocking. He's like, I remember I was watching a video. I don't remember who it was, but I was watching a video. Somebody was talking about this trailer, and they were like, Nagoriyuki looks like he plays how you think Baiken would play.
Yeah.
And then you play Baiken, he doesn't play like that at all. And like that's what he does. Because he's just like straightforward, I hit the man with my big sword. Like samurai guy, but he's like huge, so he's not. I thought he was going to be like an agile kind of dude, especially from that first trailer where he's holding like 2 swords and shit, and I was like,
That's
oh
like, nope.
no, he's big body, like wide swing kind of guy. Also, apparently in this war he's a vampire.
Yeah, that concerns me. I'm starting to have Slayer sweat.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are thinking.
I
Is
want
like,
my boy in that game. God damn it!
What does it mean? Because now you have a character who he even has some moves that are reminiscent of Slayer's. Like he dashes like Slayer does.
Yeah.
Where he kind of like phases out.
He's dandy stepping all over.
Some of his air moves look a little Slayer-ish, people have pointed out. So like, and he even has one air move that looks very Baiken-ish. So I don't know what his inclusion and his moveset means for the rest of the roster going forward, but it's very interesting. There really wasn't fucking anything else. It was like all Bandai Namco shit and like that Strive trailer. And then they answered questions.
Yes.
And the questions were like, okay, I guess. I don't even remember what they mentioned about netcode, but I know that at one point the conversation basically went from like, oh yeah, we know netcode's a problem. We want to do shit about it. And then they rolled into talking about a bunch of other shit that no one cares about, where they were like, oh yeah, we're looking at ways to like improve AI for the single player experience in our fighting games. And then everybody kind of face palmed and went, but netcode though, you know? So I think the biggest takeaway from this whole roundtable, in my opinion, is that it happened at all. Because this isn't the kind of thing you ever see from like Japanese developers, especially in the FGC, to have them all come together on a stream like that. Like if they keep doing this in the future, that would be fucking sick. They probably won't. It's probably just a product of our time, but I would love for them to do more shit like this and then actually talk about the stuff that people give a fuck about, like netcode and whatnot. Also, can we roll into this real quick?
What is it?
Capcom event afterwards, right, where they actually announced all their shit. Unfortunately, no Marvel announcement, so my tinfoil hat was incorrect, at least for now.
It blew
Though
away.
apparently there are still rumors. There are still rumors out there that Marvel 4 development is happening alongside SF6, but no one knows if that's true. A Rival Schools character is coming to fucking Street Fighter 5. That's massive.
Yeah.
Honestly, fucking massive. Like, I've never even touched a Rival Schools game, but I know that there's like a really passionate fucking community for that game, and I've seen a lot of those games. of people playing them and shit, and it's like that's a shunned franchise
It sure is.
by Capcom, and the fact that they're like bringing a rival schools character in and like a really like cool one
Yes.
at that
She's
like I don't
fucking
think a lot of
awesome.
people anticipated
Mm.
is fucking sick. So big ups to Capcom, and maybe if recent Street Fighter V content and the characters and their complexity is any indicator, and if this announcement of this character for Street Fighter V is any indicator, maybe Capcom's fighting game division has gotten their shit together.
A little
And
bit.
maybe stuff will be good going forward.
Who knows?
A lot of
see.
maybes.
Give me Marvel 4, you fucking prick.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, if Marvel vs. Capcom 4 comes out, do you think Spider-Man will be fucking exclusive to the PlayStation version?
You want to roll
Well,
into that? That's a really good
Yeah, it's
segue.
quite a segue,
We
isn't
want
it?
to be exclusive to the Xbox, though.
Richie, unmute the microphones. God damn it.
I'm back.
Okay, good. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about how you're upset at Spider-Man.
Oh,
I
we
mean,
said everything today. This
I
week.
am.
I'm upset
apparently.
about it too. This fucking thing sucks. This is a topic I'll
Wait.
agree with.
Okay. Let me start. Let's very quickly preface it. There's an
It
event.
should be explained.
There's an Avengers game coming out. It was announced E3, I think, like 2 years ago or something. Well, technically 1 year ago, but you know what I mean. And no one cared because it kind of looked bad. But then, then this happened, where Sony comes out, unzips its pants, puts it on the table, and goes, "Yeah, that Avenger game. Only we get Spider-Man."
On the movie rights.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it, and I hate
It's
it.
stupid.
It's so dumb. Like, okay, let's dig into this, right? Because from a business perspective, does this make sense for Sony to nail a deal like this? Kind of, right? Because they have to pick, because Sony in the movies and whatnot, but they also have to pimp the Miles Morales game that's coming out soon. So,
Right.
Avengers only get Spider-Man on PlayStation, buy it on PlayStation for Spider-Man, and then because you have it on PlayStation, maybe you'll buy the Miles Morales game, whatever. It makes sense. Is it fucking lame and kind of garbage and a little bit predatory? 100%. There are people who I've seen making arguments for this.
For it?
Being like-
Really?
Yes, being Sony fanboys and shit, being like, "Oh yeah, dude, like console exclusivity's been a thing forever. It's great." Also, they have exclusive Spider-Man game. This totally makes sense. 2 thumbs up. To which I would like to look you in your fucking eyes and tell you that that's horseshit, because Spider-Man has been in tons of multi-platform games, including a very recent one that came out like a year or 2 ago, which was Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yep.
On fucking Switch, which isn't multi-platform, but it was on Switch, not a fucking PlayStation console. So how come Spider-Man can be in that, but he can't be in the PC version of Avengers? Like, what the fuck is going on?
So, like, I'm confused on just the legality of it. So they own Spider-Man movie rights, but they don't own Spider-Man, do they?
No.
Isn't that like Disney?
They only
Yeah.
own the movie rights. The Spider-Man games are exclusive to PlayStation consoles, but not because Sony owns like the video game rights to Spider-Man. They just made a deal for exclusivity with that game.
Yeah. So
They own the movie rights, but nothing else.
So to kind of help this out, I'm sure movie rights were kind of leveraged, but I've heard a lot of rumors that, especially in the wake of this, these are rumors. I don't generally trust rumors, but I still like regurgitate that info because some people are all about that. That yeah, supposedly Sony has been going around with big sacks of cash to like even third parties, and it's just like, give us something, like just us, and we will give you cash dollars. And so for this, they were like, hey, I mean, we already have the ties into Spider-Man. We'll make that argument, and here's a fat sack of cash. And
Spider-Man only be playable on the PlayStation version of like a Marvel vs. Capcom game.
No, that's
Oh my
never
God.
happened. That's part of my fucking point.
that'd
dude.
be amazing.
It's such horseshit.
Could
It's
you
like Spider-Man.
imagine?
That's my joke I just made about like, what if Marvel 4 comes out and Sony goes to Capcom with a huge fucking stack of cash and Marvel and goes, hey, only on PlayStation though. Can you have Spider-Man on your team? And then
Xbox and PC only have like Wolverine. Like it's so fucking stupid.
oh my God,
Xbox only has Spawn.
imagine for a moment.
Oh, don't you put that evil. I fucking love Spawn.
Imagine for a moment.
That was a Soul Calibur reference.
I'm doubled over in my chair. Imagine for a moment.
I fucking love Spawn.
Imagine for a moment that a new Marvel game comes out, right? Okay.
Right.
And cross-platform is a thing. Okay.
Oh.
And then let's say that Spider-Man's exclusive to PlayStation, but you can play with people on PC or like Xbox, and they just can't use him.
Oh my God.
You know? So you get to have him on your team, but they can't. We could live in that future. Like that's where this could go in theory.
That's so interesting to me.
That's a word to put for.
No, like I'm not hyping it up, but it's just like the fact that could come to pass, and I find it like plausible. Not again, that's not a condoning or a recommendation of it, but that I find it plausible.
It's possible. It could happen.
Yeah, it's. I didn't imagine to live in that world. Is the thing. So it's
really
like
gross. And to keep it grounded in reality with the thing that's actually happening, you know, with PlayStation being exclusive to or Sony or Spider-Man being exclusive to PlayStation with this Avengers game, it's trash. Like it's honestly fucking garbage. This isn't something that's like super new, right? Like we've had exclusive content for certain editions of games on certain platforms before.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like, you know, using Soul Calibur for instance as an example, like it's happened in the past. But that was a situation where like every platform got something. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, oh, well, this version of the game gets a character, but that version of the game does not. And then in some other situations, it's been really minor shit, like exclusive exotics in Destiny on PlayStation only, but only for like a couple months.
Yeah, you know what I'll say it reminds me of, and it's not really applicable, but it just brings to mind. Remember when there was like multiple physical stores that you could like pre-order a game from, and they had different things? I think it was like New Vegas, where like one it's like you had an unlimited water flask, another one it was like you start with a shotgun, and like
store based,
vendor based. That's a better way to put it, because I think online stores also had different versions where vendor based pre-order content, or rewards I should say. And it's weird that it's like it's kind of leaking and it's morphing. It's boy.
Yeah, but even that is just like, oh, I just go to this place to buy the game. Now this is like, man, I got to get this fucking console if I want to play Spider-Man. Like it's not just a choice of where I get the game. It's a choice of if I want to spend fucking $600 on their console now.
Well, I mean, so okay, there's a marketing term called a walled garden, and that is what all of them are striving for. And Microsoft, I think, tried to like jump the gun too easy, and that's why they got severely punished with the Xbox One. But you want to make it that you're the only option for whatever type of content that people go to, and then they could Skinner box the hell out of you. And it's bad. It's bad for consumers. It's just straight up bad for consumers. But like again, I could see the logic. I know why they're doing it. And honestly, I don't care too much that they are doing it. And I'll preface it with, because I think this game has looked like trash, and I like Spider-Man, and I don't care if he's in a trash game. But don't worry. Soon I'll eat my words, because in the future, if this picks up as a trend, there will be a game I do care about that doesn't look like trash, and then this will happen, and soon I will suffer with you. But for right now I'm ambivalent.
We're looking at a mildly bleak future, friends, where Spider-Man is exclusive to the PlayStation version of a multi-platform game because fuck it, money. And brand new games may go up by $10 and cost
Oh,
$70 fucking.
You're gonna pay $10 to
Like-
get less.
Yeah.
Like
Everything-
explicitly, not like in a weird roundabout ways. Especially if it expands, if like next round Xbox goes, oh, we have to spend money, and now there's like 40 different versions of the same game, because it's not just the Switch version, it's also this is the only one you could play. What the fuck would be a Switch Marvel? A Moon Knight? I don't know. Sure.
This fucking game. This game for me, like I'm kind of in the same boat with you, where I was never wowed by it. I don't think it looks great, you know. But I was like, I had it on my wish list on Steam because I was like, it looks like, there's a chance it could be good. Like maybe it's third person behind the back, like more action oriented, like Ultimate Alliance, but cooperative with like other people playing with you, and like maybe it could be good. It could wind up being good. I could be wrong, and I put it on my wish list because I was like, maybe if it goes on sale at some point and if the reviews are okay, maybe I'll pick it up. And then I saw this and I immediately turned on Steam and I took that shit off my wish list, and I'm never gonna buy it. Because the idea that you're not gonna let me play fucking Spider-Man on my PC is so fucking egregious, and I hate it, that I instantly made the choice in my brain, even if this shit goes on sale for $15 6 months after release, that I'm probably not going to get this game anymore. Because fuck that. It's trash.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next, Silent Hill, slash Kojima slash Junji Ito slash rumors. Cool.
I think I posted the article for this, but that was like a while ago and I barely remember. What was the fucking news for this again?
Okay, so it's just the ruse cruise continues. I mean, we talked about on previous podcasts where it's like, why is there a pyramid pencil and all sorts of shit.
I remember now.
And then
I'm looking
like
at the article.
supposedly Kojima's working on it. So it's just a bunch of stories happening at the same time where it's like there's like a not verified but a hinted at verified Silent Hill account that's like quoting the game, but quoting it wrongly. So
What it was specifically was Konami tweeted something Silent Hill related,
yeah,
and
that
everyone
too.
went, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And they, I think, wound up linking to, or I don't remember if they linked to it or if people just found like a Silent Hill account that was relatively new or something like that. And people went nuts about it because they were like, is this like confirmation of all this bullshit fucking rumors that have been going on for months? Like, is Konami actually making a Silent Hill game? And then they came out again and they were like, nah, we swear to God, we're not working on anything. But it's kind of weird.
And then semi-related to it, Junji Ito is a fairly famous horror manga artist. I don't know what the actual term is. Japanese drawer guy. And has been in talk with Kojima. Kojima's been going on about wanting to make a horror game. They were, PT and fucking all sorts of stuff, and just with all these things happening within the same time frame, people are making like that Always Sunny thing with the just giant cross link, just like Pepe Sylvia,
Yeah,
Pepe Sylvia,
the murder board.
Yeah.
Here's what here it is specifically, really quick, because I actually have the article in front of me. It's kind of interesting. Is they make a tweet about Silent Hill, people go nuts. They're like, "What the fuck's going on? Are you going to announce something Silent Hill related?" Then they tweet again and they go, "Anything official would come first from at Silent Hill or an event or something, not from us." And what makes that weird is that the Twitter account that they kind of casually directed people to, I'm almost wording that exactly from the article that I'm reading, was established very recently in July of 2020.
Yeah, that's
so what are they doing? Is it them very slyly directing people to follow a very new Silent Hill account that they're going to announce something with very soon? Or is it all horse shit? And Konami's actually trying to tell us, please don't get excited. We're not in the business of making video games anymore. Like, what's going on? It's an interesting story. I hope that a new Silent Hill game is being made. I've echoed
course.
that sentiment on many podcasts now.
Oh, you want to? Okay.
I don't have my hopes up, but
Yeah, well, we've been going through this for so long now. It's like I'm starting to like get worn down. You know, where it's
I don't
like,
have my hopes up for multiple reasons. Because even if the rumors are true, we don't even know if they're true in a hypothetical fucking universe that this is real and a Silent Hill game gets announced tomorrow. If it's not like Kojima related and it's someone else making it, it could just be bad. Like Konami's given it to people who've made dog shit Silent Hill games for years now. So there's no telling if it's even true, if it's something to even be excited about. So
yeah. Don't you want to put on different hats?
no.
Oh.
Don't you want to play Silent Hill Diablo on your PSP
All right. So
or your Vita or whatever?
semi side note. I was looking for birthday gifts, and there's someone I know who's a big fan of Silent Hill, and so I like memorabilia, and Silent Hill memorabilia pisses me off because Pyramid Head is constantly referred to as not Pyramid Head but Pyramid Thing, and it just bothers me. I don't know what that is, but if you look up like all official models on the box, it's not Pyramid Head, it's Pyramid Thing. It triggers my autism something fierce.
You don't know about the famous Silent Hill character Pyramid Thing?
It sounds like the Chinese version, right? Like
It
the
does.
knockoff.
The knockoff Pyramid Head.
Like he's gonna be featured as a boss in the Evil Within 3. It's-
How much would you shit if a new Silent Hill game gets announced tomorrow and in the trailer he's in it and they refer to him as Pyramid Thing?
or even just some characters like, I was chased by some sort of pyramid thing. I would.
And we were wrong all our lives.
I would hate myself. Okay.
And it's a MOBA. It's a Silent Hill MOBA.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't even want to like put brain cells into trying to figure out how that would work. Blizzard wages. Okay, so this is I don't know, it's important, but it's also not. It's one of those stories where like the story becomes the story because people were like, here's what we're being paid, and I don't. Is anyone here a fan of Blizzard anymore?
I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I would say
Right.
the only thing about Blizzard I give a shit about is like Overwatch nowadays, and even then I'm lukewarm at best.
Right.
I still in quotes like Blizzard. Like I like StarCraft, I like Diablo, I do like Warcraft even though I don't play it because I'm holding on to the pipe dream that is Warcraft 4. That's never going to happen.
Oh, absolutely not.
It could
But-
happen.
Diablo 4 is definitely happening and I have to hold out hope for that game.
Because there's a druid in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get hype.
I mean, honestly, I didn't hate Diablo 3. I thought Diablo 3 was fine. But Diablo 4, gotta hold out hope.
But yeah, it was one of those things where it was like people were kind of with all throughout Blizzard, so from QA to development to management, were kind of like posting their wages for like just a weird employee camaraderie transparency because of course Blizzard didn't sanction it. And yeah, holy Christ, people are making all sorts of different money, and then it kind of like devolved into
It's there's some real
arguments
horror
on
stories.
wages. Oh yeah, oh there's some horror stories too.
There are people. There's horror stories coming out of people being like, yeah, I can't even like afford to buy on my wages from this job. I cannot afford to purchase the food in the company cafeteria and shit like that.
Like,
It's sounding kind of rough.
I mean, you hear those horror stories too about like the fucking employees need to like room together because they can't afford to live in the area.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was the first story about Blizzard. The a few months ago, or many months ago. So like we've kind of known this was a, but now this story's blown it open because it was just a bunch of people anonymously reporting their horrible pay and like their really trash fucking working conditions.
But yeah, again, it's been going on for a while, but it's just like Blizzard can't catch a break and they don't deserve one.
It's really kind of incredible, you know, like we're living in an interesting age where a lot of these companies, and I mean, I've been over this before, where it's like the companies as we know them now are not the companies as we used to know them, right? Blizzard in its current state is not the Blizzard we knew from back in like the Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, like initial World of Warcraft days.
Yeah,
Very different company.
Oh yeah.
But we've lived long enough to watch these companies that we used to give a fuck about kind of evolve into like a state of garbage, like just absolute trash to treat their employees like fucking hell. And we learn a little bit more about it.
It is
every
also
few months.
very interesting because it kind of brought up, and I don't want to get into like economics or anything like that, but it's just that, you know, some of these people who are saying these horror stories also make like a hell of a lot of money, and just how it's gonna be weird, I think, in the future where it's like most development stuff are in cities and it's very expensive to live in a city. But now, especially with like the viruses and pandemics and whatnot, where oh yeah, I guess you could just work from home, and oh yeah, I guess it doesn't matter too much where you live. Like you don't have to go to the office, especially for like development work. And it's gonna lead. I think it's gonna lead to a head where it's like these type of wages are because the businesses exist in these places where the cost of living is so high that they're still not really making any, even if it's like a 3-figure salary. That's like nothing.
Can we talk real quick about some of these facts? Can we talk about the fucking Android robot statement that someone from Blizzard made
No,
regarding
what's
this?
that?
It
That
sounds
sounds cool.
cold as fuck. No, it's just like I'm referring to the person who made it as like a fucking robot, because when these people make statements about these things, they come off sounding like they're inhuman and they don't make sense. But
I'm very
someone
excited.
from
I don't
Well, it's
change the
just
words
corporate
that I
speak.
said.
It's corporate speak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, someone from Blizzard came out as a result of this article being posted and people talking about this payment spreadsheet that came out, and she was like, what's her name? Activision Blizzard spokeswoman Jessica Taylor. Our goal has always been to ensure we compensate our employees fairly and competitively. We are constantly reviewing compensation philosophies to better recognize the talent of our highest performers and keep us competitive in the industry, all with the aim of rewarding and investing more in top employees. This being said, in an article where people are talking about the fact that people can't afford to eat on their fucking Blizzard salaries and that they like drink coffee to fucking as like an appetite suppressant and shit because they're getting paid trash and they're getting raises of like less than 50 cents an hour and shit like that.
Well,
working for Blizzard.
in other sectors in the same company are getting like 20% bonuses, and also I think Activision, who owns Blizzard, was like pressuring on them to like downside, which led to those like shit tons of layoffs from last year. And then Activision made like 40% like higher profits than ever, and it's like it's an interesting intersection.
Thank you, Activision Blizzard spokeswoman Jessica Taylor, for your corporate regurgitated robot speak. I bet someone else just told you to say that. It's not your fault. But I love it when these companies come out and try to justify this garbage. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
it's like when Jim Sterling does his Android Wilson talk in his videos whenever he's talking about like EA. It's great.
Man, even talking about that, fucking I used to be hyped for EA games.
Richie, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, like, it's just like you said, it's the companies we grew up with. They're not the same. They're fucking giant corporate machines now, only meant to really make money.
I mean, it's something like Jim Sterling's been talking about it forever, and you know, we talked about it briefly about like a push for unionization that was happening over in with like CD Projekt and shit like that, and it's like we keep hearing about this shit, you know, how like people, how this industry is actually kind of fucked up, and how people like Activision list their headquarters as being somewhere outside of the US, and they have tax havens and all this shit, and they literally pay zero taxes in the States and fucking make quadrillions of dollars every year, and then their employees can't eat. So this, you know, it's a little fucked up.
Well, I mean,
And
even
Blizzard is
even if
no
we don't
stranger.
go to that thing, it's like it's been an open secret how hellish crunch time is in like literally every single development studio. Like it's very
So
easy
not
to
only are
point.
these people,
It's very easy to point at the big guy and be like, "You are Evil Souls Corporation." But when you even hear about small studios where it's like, "Yeah, I've been working for like literally a month straight and sleeping under the office
sleeping under my
desk,"
desk, yeah.
and it's like that's just the way the industry is, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
It's
speaking
been-
as a software developer,
welcome BB to the podcast. I don't think the Discord noise picks up on the podcast.
When it was crunch time, my boss basically had a breakdown and almost cried in front of all of us, and it was very tasty, honestly.
Nice. What was the breakdown about?
It's I would have to go into a whole thing explaining it, but basically, just it was pretty much over nothing. It was very funny.
Well, there you go.
There you
It's
go.
not video game development, but
It
yeah,
is development.
An office story.
It's development of fucking something.
It's development of-
All right then.
That's it. That's all I gotta say about
Both
that.
BB, it's development of
BB,
something.
CEO of development of something.
That's his official title at the podcast now. CEO of development of something.
Specifically of something.
Yeah, OBS mutes Discord noises, so it's always a surprise when he's suddenly just
Yeah.
talking.
So you have to phase his picture in at the bottom.
Oh
of
yeah.
fucking-
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I think we've said everything on that. Unless anyone has something to fucking add.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. More Sega PC games. So it turns out
Yeah, that's exciting.
Persona was worth gangbusters sales. And because of that, they're like, yo, turns out this is a market that we've been neglecting.
I don't know why I don't know why this is news, and I don't know why this is a surprise to anyone at Sega, because when Persona 5 came out, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but when Persona 5 came out, there was that whole like stink that happened with people like emulating it on PC and figuring that shit out. And Atlas came out and they were like, "Hey, could you please not do that? And could you like buy the game on PlayStation? Also, we are noticing your desire for this shit on PC." And then like 2 years went by or something like that. Like I don't even remember when Persona 5 came out, but it was a while back. And we heard nothing. And then randomly, like a few months ago, Persona 4 Golden comes out on PC. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, why is Sega shocked at the fact that this game sold gangbusters on Steam? Like, people have been asking for these fucking games on Steam for years.
Okay.
Literally years.
You can describe Sega as many things. In Touch has never been one of them.
Yeah. No, that's clear and evident. And you know what else is really fucking stupid about this shit, too? Is that they've been porting Yakuza games.
Oh, yeah.
To PC. And those have been selling really well, too. So they had to have known that this would happen. When you have a fucking market that's like starved for this particular kind of game and like they really want you to bring it to their platform, why are you shocked that it sold like however many hundreds of thousands of copies on Steam like day one?
Yeah, and it's weird, and
me.
it's weird that it's not just like a standard. Like we just talked about how hell the development is, so sure, but outside of that realm, like it's like how like you have to like bring on a team in the future to like reverse engineer and bring it. Whereas like if you just develop them side by side the entire time, and then you just release them, and you just have that much bigger of a market to reach, just do that.
Or just give your fucking
do
game
that.
to like when you develop it, you know, like Persona 4 Golden coming to PC. This game is pretty fucking old. You know, it was stuck on Vita for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
the second Persona, like in a hypothetical parallel universe, the second this game existed on Vita, you even if you didn't want to do it in house, you could have chucked this to some dev that specializes in porting games to PC and just had them do it instantly, and we wouldn't have had to wait like this many fucking years. Sometimes that's a horror story, like with the NRS PC ports with like MKX and shit like that being travesties. But sometimes when you have a company that's really good at it, it works out. So there's very little fucking excuse for not bringing these games to PC. But they just didn't for a really long time. And then when people ask for it and they scream for it for years, they act surprised that it's sold like crazy when it comes out on PC. Like I didn't have to be a rocket scientist to tell you that people were gonna buy this fucking shit in droves.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
Persona 5 when? Huh?
Yeah. It's kind of funny that like the PC was kind of propped up as like the haven for like WRPGs, and now it's becoming the haven for like JRPGs.
Because Japanese companies have started, like, it was like I remember it was back, I want to say it started around when Revengeance came to PC. There was like a lot of Japanese developers that started bringing their shit to PC. Platinum was kind of one of the first that started like really developing their shit for PC. I'm sure there was some. I don't have the history of it in my brain. I'm sure someone else was also doing it at around the same time. But my point is, it was like around that vicinity, like maybe like 8 years ago or something like that, that Japanese devs really started bringing shit to PC. But you have these fucking slow rollers like Sega that just refuse to do it for no discernible reason, and then they do, and they act shocked when it works out. I just don't get it. You and me have had this conversation off the podcast a lot, where I bitch and complain about Sony's like refusal to port anything to PC, when in my mind it's like free money.
Yeah.
You know, you bring Bloodborne to PC tomorrow, and you're going to make so much more money than it's very likely going to cost you to actually port that to PC. So why don't you just fucking do it? It's like mind-boggling to me, and I hate it. But this is a step in the right direction, so maybe Persona 5 comes out in the near future.
And now, on to the lightning round. Really quick, Witcher is getting a Netflix prequel. You saw it. It's gonna be
Cool.
more, but in the past.
Milkening.
Witcher the Milkening. That's the new title.
It's like it's not Geralt, right? I haven't read anything about this.
No, it's like how many fucking thousands of years in the past or something?
Is it really like thousands of years
I
in the
believe
past?
so. I would have to read the article really quick. I
Like,
think it was.
What's the
thousands.
story? It has to do with the God. What's the event called? The link to the fucking all the worlds and shit.
I'm gonna click the article.
It's
All
called
I
the
want to
event
know is
that linked all the worlds and shit.
is Keanu Reeves in
what
it?
an event.
Because Cyberpunk is part of the Witcher universe.
I hope so.
This is easy for easy to come in, and his only line is "You're breathtaking," and then he just like, and then a phone booth pops out behind him, and Bill grabs him, and then they jump in and they go into the past to play concert. Okay, wow, that
Here we
was a
go.
reach.
I've clicked the article. The success of Netflix's The Witcher adaptation is leading to a second season, yada yada yada, as well as a 6-part prequel series called The Witcher: Blood Origin, which was announced in a short tweet today. This being from the 27th
What
of
a
last month.
fucking name.
This new series is set 1,200 years before Geralt's reign, and will give us a look at the elven civilization before its collapse to the world of men and monsters.
Ooh.
We'll also be introduced to the first Witcher. That's what it is.
That's actually very interesting.
It could be good. I mean, the first season of The Witcher was all right.
All right, next bit. Avowed is fucking gigantic.
I'm very excited. When I read this news, I was like, oh my god. All our speculation and me being like, why aren't more people talking about this fucking Xbox exclusive like Skyrim game, that Elder Scrolls game rather, that fucking Microsoft has Obsidian making for them? Oh my god. Apparently it's huge. Apparently it is like Elder Scrolls gigantic, supposedly, according to rumors and leaks. That's fucking awesome. And I'm very hype.
Xbox changes the names of all of its things, and it turns out that's it. So Xbox Games Pass just kind of became like Games Pass. There was actually, and the reason that wasn't bigger news, and I put it into the lightning round, is all those articles had an amendment where Microsoft came in and was like, yeah, it's just kind of like streamlining it, like nothing crazy is happening. It's not changing in its features, it's not changing in the products that it covers or anything like that. It's Game Pass now. They I guess they secured that IP. Sekiro is getting an update? Question mark. There's gonna be a costumes and shit. It's very interesting, especially that it's an update, not a DLC, which I know a lot of people were surprised it didn't get any DLC at all. Especially because it's like there's a easy way to insert it into the game, but they never really did it. But hey, it's getting an update, more content for a good game that I still have to play.
This feels like FromSoft being like, man, it's taken us a while to put any news about Elden Ring in anyone's brain. So let's just stay in the public consciousness real quick by pumping an update out for Sekiro so people write articles about it.
Brennan, you weren't here for it, but the joke last week that me and Richie were like, yeah, it's taking George R.R. Martin years and years to write a book. Why did we think he could put a video game out on time?
Yeah. Man, fuck putting the video game out on time. Just give me like a gameplay trailer. What the fuck is going on? Can I see anything about it, please?
Anything
Someone
at all.
from FromSoft, help.
14 years.
Whatever you do when the trailer comes out, don't put a maybe right after it.
Yeah, don't put a maybe.
Call of Duty spoiled by Doritos in hysterical packaging snafu. The name of the title, which is Cold War, Call of Duty Cold War. Well, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Well, now we know about that. So there was already leaks that
Thanks,
it was
Doritos.
going to be Cold War-ish, and thanks to the power of cheesy goodness, also available in Cool Ranch, pay us money. We know it's also going to be related to the Black Ops game. So hey, that's nice.
Doritos, please. If you cut us a check, I will pimp Doritos to our 20 subs.
It's going to be the same podcast, but you're going to hear chips munching the entire time.
If Doritos, you throw us a check in any one of my videos of like fetal position crying, I will have a bag of Doritos.
it's you crying in the fetal position, then one of us just like comes in the frame from the side with like a bag of Doritos, and we're like sponsored by Doritos. And then we eat one, and then the video ends. And then the next video comes out where we all kill ourselves, but before we do it, we eat like a whole bag of Doritos together.
Well, obviously it'll be my suicide note, but at the end I'll just be like, hey, Doritos are good though.
Suicide note written on a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's a real gamer's way.
I'd pay for
to
that.
go out.
Ubisoft cancels the King Arthur game, so they hired a graphic design or someone who worked in Dragon Age, and people were like, and then they fired him.
I believe.
And people were like, I wonder what that was about, and it turns out there's a King Arthur game, but Ubisoft is French, so they can't do English stuff, and they were like, fuck this game, get out of here.
It wasn't a writer, they just credited him as designer.
I don't know.
Laidlaw, I know his name.
I don't get the like quote associated with that. Just like be better than Tolkien. I don't get that.
I don't either. It literally makes no sense.
Like
they're French. They don't like the English. That's it.
Like what did they mean by that? Were they saying like your shit sucks because it's not as good as Tolkien, or be different than him? Like I don't get it.
So I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's like that was the quote attributed to them, like removing this guy from removing the entire project was, I guess they told him be better than Tolkien. I guess he couldn't be.
Okay, that's really weird.
Not enough Lancelot. Anyway,
very strange.
Cortana is dead. Microsoft is
But not the way she should be in the game. A different Cortana.
Different Cortana.
yeah, the one that you talk to and have play your terrible music. You won't be able to talk to her in the future.
Wow, good job assuming that our listeners listen to terrible music. What the fuck, Anthony?
I mean, they listen to us. They clearly don't have great ears.
That's true. They do have horrible taste.
Warframe update. Warframe is getting a huge update at the end of August.
You grind less?
No, if anything,
All
it's gonna
right,
be more.
move on.
Well, I
Are you
mean,
kidding
I
me?
just want to describe it. There's going to be the infected lands, and the coolest thing is that there's a part of your ship that currently does nothing, more or less, and soon you're going to be able to feed it warframes, so you can take an ability from the warframe and put it on another warframe. There are currently 40 goddamn warframes, and that's going to open up a lot of possibilities. The grind comes in where each warframe takes 3 days to build, and then it's going to take a day for this room to eat it. So
It takes a day for the room to eat it?
Yep.
Fucking A, dude.
And you can only do one at a time until you upgrade the room. So
Nice.
So that's 40 days. Like you have to literally.
that's if you have them built
warframes
already.
for over a month.
Yep.
Yeah, true. And you have to build them. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
That's why I don't play that game anymore.
Well, assuming that you want to feed every frame to it, what people are going to do, guaranteed, is they're going to figure out the actual good ability that they want for their warframe of choice. This is a cool system. I was talking to Matt about this yesterday. It's a very interesting mechanic, like to open up this level of customization for your warframe to be like, oh, because warframes always had that problem, right, where you build your frame in a certain way with your skills and shit, or whatever they were called, the mods, and then it's like, I'm never going to touch like these two abilities.
Yep.
But the other two I will. So now you have a system where it's like, oh, well, this ability on this other warframe would be really good for my build in place of this shitty one that I never use. So you can do that now, you know? You can go get that ability from that warframe and swap it with the trash one you never use. It's a cool system. But of course there has to be like grind associated with it.
Guaranteed.
Because everything in Warframe has to have grind associated with it. Kind of like how that new infested open world is probably going to have another 5 layers of dumb traders you have to level up in order to make cool guns or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Man, I don't want to play that game anymore. I don't.
Richie, this one's in your court. DLC for DLC, Warhammer based.
Yeah, that's just real quick. Yeah, it's just the Wood Elves DLC for Total Warhammer 2.
Yeah.
It's strange because Wood Elves were originally a DLC, so we're dabbing into the idea of DLC for DLC, which, I mean, I don't know if Brenton has a separate opinion. I think they did it the best way possible because you get this DLC, and what it does is it's for Total Warhammer 2. And you unlock the whole faction plus everything you get in the DLC for the DLC. So really, you kind of get a deal more or less with this, as opposed to other DLCs, because you're unlocking the whole faction and all the new stuff, as opposed to just the new stuff that you usually get with the DLC and not the whole faction. But and then if like I don't know, Creative Assembly is doing something where like if you have like both games, you get some extra shit, and if you have both games and the DLC from the first one, you get even more shit. I guess is a way to say thank you. I don't know.
The way
I think it was a good way to do it. I think it was a good way to do it.
The way I'd explain this to Richie when he first showed me this, was that it's kind of that they handled it the best way they could, in the sense that I feel like they handled it in a loophole of a way, where someone at CA went, man, someone's going to write an article very angrily about us charging DLC for DLC if we don't handle this properly. So how do we do this? And then they were like, okay, let's make it so that you don't require the old Wood Elves DLC, and if you buy this one, you just get Wood Elves for game 2, thus technically making it not DLC for DLC. So they kind of just skirted the controversy a little bit, even though if you own the original DLC in the first game, you still get extra shit. So in a way, it is DLC for DLC, but it's also not, because you still get the whole race if you only own the second game. It's very smart on their part to kind of loophole it and skirt controversy. I'm fine with how they handled it. I guess it's not the worst.
And I mean, silver lining. If this does well, which it's going to, because it's a Total War DLC and a lot of people get it, they're gonna do it for another race. Cough, cough, Beastmen.
It's gonna be
which
fucking Beastmen.
severely need it. So,
But
I'm down with it.
you and me have also conversated about how will they do that, or will it be something that they lump into Game 3 because of the chaos themes of Game 3? Like, how will they handle that? Who knows?
I am of the opinion that, and I don't know, this is just me tinfoil hatting, that the maybe not the Beastmen, but maybe like the Warriors of Chaos shit might be pre-order DLC for the third game.
It all comes back.
The Warriors of Chaos stuff, you think will be pre-order DLC?
I think it's possible.
That'd be
I think
so
we
funny.
I think we could see that shit in Warhammer 2. They'll just do a Norska. I could be wrong. It could be bullshit. But I think it's possible.
Norska opened the door for pre-order DLC for the game that came before the one that you're buying. You know? Like, that's quite literally what they did. They were like, oh yeah, pre-order it and you'll just get stuff for the game you have, but not the game that you're going to have. And I don't know if you remember, but some people went nuts about that. Because it was like, but what if I don't have the first game? What if I've been waiting for like the elves and shit? And so I never intended to buy game 1. I just want to buy
in
game
the third
2.
one.
Way later. Norska wasn't in.
Yeah, but that was
you're talking
because
about
of,
you're talking about the new hypothetical
code.
thing. I'm talking about Norska. In Norska's case, people went nuts because it was like, oh, I'm not getting this in game 2 until you give me Mortal Empires. And even then, if I don't own the first game, I can't play Norska. So people went nuts about that shit. So in this hypothetical situation, it would make a little more sense because you'd still potentially be able to use Warriors of Chaos in the third game, assuming that that's how they do it. If you pre-order the game.
I don't know, but getting a little off track. The only reason I brought that up was just because the I think it's possible that Beastmen get done in the second game.
Okay. Beyond that, still no Dr. Disrespect news. Go fuck yourself.
Well, there was
On
news.
YouTube.
He started streaming. He's been streaming again on YouTube for the last 2 or 3 days to massive viewer counts, like 100,000 people watching his stream every fucking day. And the only thing he's said on the whole Twitch debacle is that he still doesn't know why they banned him.
Yeah, that's what I was driving at there.
Yeah,
But
still
I
has
did,
no
I didn't know he
fucking
was
clue.
streaming, so that is
Oh, yeah.
news. Thank you.
I guess he said on stream too that it is his opinion, and I guess his legal team's opinion, that they haven't done anything to warrant a ban. So that's interesting.
I mean, he's got he keeps hinting at his legal team for a reason, because there's some litigation that may be coming soon in the future. Very interested to see what comes of that.
Rocksteady Suicide Squad game confirmed. They made a big announcement about it. Yay.
Could be good.
And then Robbie, take it away. D&D Unearthed Arcana.
So,
Wow!
finally, we have gotten an Unearthed Arcana in the current year for every class in D&D. Both of which I'm very happy with. The new Warlock and the replacement of the old Undying, and the new Bard College, which is very spiritual in a sense, where one can use a crystal ball as their spellcasting focus.
I think the Bard one is a little too good, but that's just my opinion.
With this, everyone is hoping and speculating that we will get a PDF of a new expansion pack for 5e, whether it be digital or physical, sometime by Christmas.
With our new PC races.
Hell yeah, dude!
Just
But,
in
that
time
is-
for 6th edition this summer.
Yeah. But that is the word around the grapevine that this was the last of the groundwork needed for them to work on their big expansion that they're going to be putting out, because especially with how much attention they've been getting due to COVID and everything, the quarantine, and everyone's just been playing and everyone's having fun, and they put out a bunch of free shit and everyone's actually been loving it. They want to get a book out while people are still interested. They got Theros out, and that went well. Matt Mercer's book worked out really well. They want to keep that hype train going.
Maybe they should fix the
Monopoly
Ranger
wants
class.
continued monopoly.
They
News
want
at
the
11.
train to keep rolling. Fix Ranger.
We don't talk about Ranger. Ranger's in the closet.
That's
Fix
Or
what-
make, like,
Ranger
Speak-
and keep Matt Mercer away.
make an official, like an actual gunslinger class.
Hey,
That'd be good. I'd be excited for that.
Matt Mercer back in the closet.
They're not going to do
And-
that. He makes too much money.
People like Matt Mercer, Richie. People like him a lot.
I
Hell,
like
I like.
Matt Mercer. I just think he needs to stay away from making Dungeons and Dragons material.
He's a really good DM. I just think, give me like an official gunslinger class. That's like actually a class,
you could
and is good.
combo that in with making Ranger good. Keep Ranger exactly the same, but hand them a gun.
Yeah, Rangers become the gunslingers.
Here's your buff, and it's a Glock. Slide a Glock across
And-
the table.
And that's the news, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us, except for that one guy.
I hate all of you.
Please subscribe so I can kill myself and end this pain.